silver just comes along for the ride. You can ignore silver price, ignore what pushes silver. You can just focus on gold. When gold gets, when gold finally bounces and gets above 2,000, silver will bounce and get above 25. Once silver's above 25, it will not take long to get to 30. My feeling is that'll take less than a month, which is kind of insane. And the reason why is because the technicals are just, silver's just so far behind, lagging so far behind gold. And once silver finally decides to move, boy, it's going to be a rocket ship.
Don Durrett, the renowned analyst behind goldstockdata.com, recently shared his insights on the Brics meeting and offered his optimistic outlook on the future of gold and silver. He anticipates substantial price increases in the coming years. Additionally, he discussed the factors influencing when gold and silver stocks may experience significant movement. Gold prices exhibited a noteworthy climb on Monday, approaching a one-month peak achieved in the prior session. This upward trend was attributed to a modest decline in the US dollar and the prospect that the US Federal Reserve might refrain from further interest rate hikes this year. Concurrently, the spot silver market saw a 0.3% increase, reaching $24.24 per ounce. Don proposes that when gold surpasses the $2,000 mark, silver is likely to follow suit, potentially exceeding $25. Once it crosses this threshold, it could swiftly advance to $30 in less than a month. Based on a simple pitchfork analysis, there's a silver price forecast for 2025 ranging between $34 and $50. Don suggests that this situation could benefit silver mining companies, leading to significant spikes in their stock prices, attracting investors as they witness rapid gains. Just before you watch Don Durrett's interview and latest market trends, make sure to subscribe to our channel and give this video a big thumbs up. However, Don highlights the possibility of well-established gold mining firms like Newmont experiencing significant stock price growth, with the latest closing price as of September 1, 2023, standing at $39.32. This growth could even result in doubling or tripling their stock values.
And so once silver gets to above 30, I said 20. So the reason why I say it's a month is because once it gets above 25, the key number levels are 27, 28, and I think it's going to get to 27 within a month. Once it gets above 27, it's just going to be, $3 move from 27 to 30 in one day. It's going to be kind of shocking to people what's going to happen here. Then once silver gets above $30, it will get above 50 within 6 months, and it could be within 3 months. So once you get above 25, you're looking at silver getting to 50 within 6 to 7 months, which is absolutely insane, because if it does that, all these silver miners that are just super, super cheap are going to be rocking and rolling. Their stock prices are just going to go absolutely bonkers. And at that point, people are going to start jumping into the market because they're going to see these stocks going up 10, 20% in a week. And they're like, this is easy money. And so everybody's going to be jumping into them. And then, and gold's going to be, when silver's doing all this, gold's going to be leading. And so silver's going to be going nuts, but they're not going to be leading. It's gold that's going to be leading. And so the gold miners are going to be doing as well, but they're not going to be going up as high because they're not, we got $1,900 gold. So their margins are, $400, $300 to $400 already today. So their margins are already pretty good. So there are a lot of gold miners that are cheap, but most of them aren't super cheap. They're not going to run, as fast as these silver miners, but they're still going to do really well. I mean, you got a company like Newmont trading, I think it's around 42. I'm not sure, but if you look at where it was in October, in August of 2020, it's lost all of its gains. So in other words, it's going to have a 100% run just to get back to its October gains. And then it's going to do another 100% run to get to 2,500 and another 100% run to get to 3,000. So Newmont's going to be do a 300% return. Now I'd say 200 to 300% return to get to 3,000. So that's one of your biggest gold miners in the world. If Newmont's going to go up 300%, you can imagine what the mid-tiers and the juniors are going to do. It's going to be kind of crazy. I mean, the mid-tiers are going to go up 400 to 500%. The juniors are going to go up 600 to 1,000%. It's going to be crazy. And nobody's really expecting this. The sentiment, Heckler went down to $4 because they had a fire at one of their mines. But that fire is not going to stop them from restarting the mine. Everybody's thinking in the short term. That's all going to come back. They're all going to come back in line. You shouldn't even be owning miners if you think in the short term. You should be thinking 24 months out. So it's like, so what if they have a problem today? In 24 months, their free cash flow is going to be huge. And you should be thinking about future free cash flow, not future free cash flow this quarter. But Wall Street's controlling the price, and they only care about this quarter. They only care about the next quarter. So prices went to $4. But that price action showed you how sentiment is terrible. I thought that it would jump to $4.50 the next day. But guess what? It didn't even bounce. It stayed at $4. But then yesterday, silver went up 3%, and then Heckler went to $4.50. It's probably trading around $4.50 today. So anybody that bought at $4, they got, great entry price. Now, when we get this final sell-off in the next 2 months, I'm saying that's what I'm expecting. Heckler will probably go back under $4 because everybody's short-term minded, and that will be a great buying opportunity.
The Brics, a group of nations that recently invited 6 new countries for membership, are poised for further expansion as numerous other countries express interest in joining. This development, considered by many as a potential rival to the G7, could have repercussions for the US dollar, as these member nations may increasingly opt for non-US dollar currencies for their oil exports. Don regards this expansion as a significant event with potential long-term negative consequences for the US economy. Lula, Brazilian leader, emphasizes the creation of a currency for transactions among BRICS nations as a means to reduce vulnerabilities. Don further speculates that Brazil, China, and Russia may be exploring the idea of establishing their own international trade currency, potentially even considering a digital token backed by gold as an alternative. This suggests a broader shift in global economic dynamics with potential ramifications for the US dollar and the international monetary system. Let's get back to the interview.
I think it's over. So I don't think they announced anything about a new currency. That was very disappointing. However, they added 3 large oil producers: Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the UAE, United Arab Emirates. So those 3 countries, when you add those three to Russia, it's a large. Those are the biggest oil players there are. And Nigeria wants in. They're another big oil producer. So I think that the reason why the stock market fell today, because it should have went up with NVIDIA's, great numbers, but it didn't. I think the stock market, who has been ignoring this whole BRICS expansion, the impact it's going to have on de-dollarization now because of all that oil. Oil is the number one exporting revenue-wise. So if these countries are basically going to say, pay me in non-dollars, and I think that's what we're going to see, then you have this, this end of the petrodollar, and the dollar slowly, loses its value over time. I think this is kind of a historic event. I did see it as a win-win. This BRICS conference is a win-win for gold. It's either going to win with announcement of a possible currency. That would have been huge for gold. Gold would have went up probably $50 a day if they would announce that. But by announcing this expansion of 6 countries, I think that's the beginning. They're going to keep expanding after that. And there's another, 35 countries that want in. And as those countries come in, that's going to slowly, create this de-dollarization effect. We don't know the overall impact it's going to have to the U.S. economy, but I think it's detrimental. I really do. I think the end game is going to be detrimental. And the stock market, I think, is going to start to feel what's coming. It's like, we got a problem here. The U.S. has been the global leader. I call it global dominance since the end of World War II. We've basically been able to control the rules of international trade. I mean, the SWIFT system only uses the U.S. dollar, and the SWIFT system is what has been used for international trade. And so now we're going to start to see it's inevitable, I think, that they start to use a different system than SWIFT. And when they use a different system of SWIFT, they're going to use other currencies. And that's going to slowly a movement away from the dollar. And now one announcement that was made, the only one I really saw that was kind of let's do a currency was out of Brazil. De Silva, he basically said we need a separate currency, not to replace ours, but we need a separate unit we can use for trade. So he was the one guy that said something. Other than that, it was quiet. But so it looks like Brazil and China and Russia all want one. And so I think we're going to hear more and more rumors about it. And so if they don't create a Brics currency, it's not going to happen overnight. Might not even happen, for a year. But if they don't create a new currency, I don't think that China wants the yuan to be this global reserve currency. They don't want a lot of countries, using the yuan as their reserve. They don't want, that's the kind of a mess they want to avoid. And so I think, both China and Russia, I think are going to push that. So if we don't get this idea of a new Brics currency, I think what's going to happen is they will use a digital token, a blockchain token that's backed by gold. And I think that might come out of Iran. It might come out of Russia, where they create basically a crypto digital token that's backed by gold.
Silver prices, which recently reached a one-month high, experienced a downturn on Monday, potentially marking their fourth consecutive decline. This initial rise was driven by a weaker U.S. dollar and speculation regarding the U.S. Federal Reserve's expected pause in interest rate hikes. However, this upward momentum was short-lived, with Monday being a U.S. bank holiday, resulting in subdued price movements and lower trading volume. In light of the recent fluctuations in silver prices and the factors influencing them, what do you think might be the outlook for silver in the near future? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If the video resonated with you, make sure to join our community by subscribing to our channel and enabling notifications with the bell icon. We value your support.